Being a work in progress means that you're constantly growing, you're constantly evolving, you're constantly developing. In order to find your passion, you have to do things passionately. Welcome to the Chasing Genius podcast. My name is Crystal, and I am your host for the number one show for creatives in pursuit of their own creative geniuses. In today's episode, we are going to talk about being a work in progress and why it's important for creatives to embrace being a work in progress. As creatives, we need to embrace being a work in progress. A lot of times we shy away from putting ourselves out there because we feel that our skills aren't as developed as the next person, we don't have the background necessary for that opportunity, or simply we just don't feel ready. And a lot of times us not feeling ready is very personal to us, because if you ask someone outside of ourselves if we are ready for that opportunity, most times they'll say, yes, you are ready for that opportunity. But I think a lot of that mindset shift comes from us learning how to embrace being a work in progress. So why is it that as artists we have a hard time embracing being a work in progress? Being a work in progress means that you're constantly growing, you're constantly evolving, you're constantly developing. We're always going to be reiterating what our creative vision is, what our creative style is, what our, artistic ability is. That's allowed to change. We don't have to be set in stone in whatever it is we decide is our creative talent. We're allowed to add and subtract things as time goes on. Being a creative is the ability to shapeshift into whatever it is that you want to be. And being a work in progress means understanding that who you are in this moment is not who you are going to be forever. Who you are in this moment is who you are in this moment. Who you were in the past is who you were in the past. And who you are in the future is who you are in the future. The truth is, you'll never be ready. You'll never be ready for whatever opportunity it is. When the opportunity comes knocking on the door, just take it. But just because you don't feel ready, it doesn't mean that you're unworthy of that opportunity. There is no perfect moment. You'll never be 100% ready for an opportunity. The best thing that you can do right now is to just prepare yourself for when the opportunity comes knocking. That's the truth. Just because you don't feel ready, it doesn't mean you aren't ready. Because like I said before, a lot of times we are assessing ourselves from our own perspective. We're looking at ourselves and telling ourselves that we aren't ready for this opportunity. But again, if you ask someone outside of yourself, they'll be like, hell yeah, you are ready for this opportunity. But the only reason why you're telling yourself you're not ready is because you're afraid to fail. You're afraid that if you do get this opportunity, you're afraid that you might drop the ball. You are afraid that you're going to realize that there's gaps in your knowledge. You're going to realize that you might not have actually been ready for this opportunity, and you let your fear talk you out of that opportunity. You got to fake it till you make it, because at the end of the day, we are our own worst critic. So again, the work always comes before the belief. And just because you don't feel ready doesn't mean you aren't ready. And just because you feel like you have to be ready doesn't make you unworthy of that opportunity. Embrace being a work in progress. Setbacks will always happen, but that's all part of the plan. There's this book by Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way. I remember reading it in high school, such a long time ago in hindsight. But I remember reading that book, and I think it's in our human nature to avoid setbacks, to avoid obstacles, to avoid problems, because we're either not confrontational or feel that we might not have the ability to solve the situation that's at hand. But as cliche and as cheesy as it sounds, the only way to get over a situation or to get over an obstacle is to go directly through it, to go directly through the trouble, to go directly through where you feel the most uncomfortable, because the only way you're going to find a solution to that is to be in the weeds, to be in the mix, to be in motion. It's hard to solve a problem when you are at a standstill, when you feel stagnant, when you feel like there's no way forward. But if you're already in motion, it's easier to think on your feet. It's easier to feel like, okay, I can, do this because I can see how far I've come. But when you've been in, the same space for a while, it's hard for you to kind of like recognize that there's a way out of that situation. So you become a different person by going through those things. You can ask anybody, any successful person, if they could change all the things they had to go through in order to get to that moment where they were successful, where they got that win. They say they won't change a thing, because all the things that help make them the person that they are today is all those obstacles, it's all those setbacks, it's all those failed experiments and failed moments, and moments where they felt like they couldn't do anything else about it. Those are the moments that shape them. Those are the moments that force their genius out of them. So the obstacle is always the way. And then most important out of all of this is that find beauty in the journey. The journey is the destination. The journey is the moment that allows us to be present. The journey is what makes this life worth living. A lot of times we set our minds on where we want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years from now. And we have this fixed moment in our mind of like that destination. And it causes us to not live in the moment. We live day to day in this future dream that oftentimes when the dream does happen, it's almost like we're already on to the next dream. We're already on to the next destination. We're already on to the next moment that we deem more worthy than the moment that we're actually in. But the journey to that destination is where we pick up the fruits of our labor. It's where those small wins and small victories happen. It's where we find who we truly are. It's in the people that we meet along the way. It's in the opportunities that we take along the way. It's in the moments where we get to take a deep breath and say, wow, look how far I've come. Embrace the journey. Embrace these moments, because the truth is they don't last forever. You know what I mean? Like, they don't last forever. And my favorite photographer, Andre Wagner, I talk about him all the time, but he had said that one of his most important lesson that he learned as a photographer is to know that the moment is always right now. As a photographer, especially a street photographer, there's a lot of times where you're like, I want to take this photo, and then you think about it and you're like, nah, I'm not going to take this photo. And then for the rest of the day, you're just thinking about that photo that you did not take because you were either overthinking it or you were just too worried about like what other people would say around you. Even though when you're thinking about not taking that photo, you're honestly only thinking about the photo. You're not even remembering the people that was around you that kind of discouraged you to not take the photo or made you feel a bit shy about taking the photo, right? That's a missed opportunity, and that happens to us a lot. We always think about the missed opportunity when we're not being present. The moment is always right now. If you think about it in this moment, just do it, because you're going to be more happy that you did it in that moment than thinking about it later, about all the missed photos that you didn't take, because a photographer always remembers the photos they did not take. 9 times out of 10, you think about that photo you didn't take more times than you think about the photos you did take. We worry a lot about our future and we forget about the moment. We forget about presence, and it's a lot easier said than done because we live in a world of vision boards, of setting goals, New Year's resolutions, things like that, XYZ. But learning to find beauty in the journey will allow you to have a better chance of enjoying life. I was watching another video on here, and the creator was saying how in order to find your passion, you have to do things passionately. We always say we're trying to find our passion, or what is my passion, or how can I be more passionate? But the truth is to do everything passionately, whether it's me sitting down here and making these videos and trying to connect with people. I have to do it with passion in order to even connect with y'all. If I didn't do it with passion, if I didn't do it passionately, y'all would be able to tell. Y'all would say, oh, she's just on here saying whatever everyone else is saying and doing what else everyone else is saying. But I'm doing it with passion because I do love doing this. It is a lot of work, but I'm embracing that. One, I'm a work in progress. These videos aren't going to be perfect as I'm going along the journey, but it is in doing the work that over time my videos will become perfect. I'm not worried about the destination of how many subscribers I want, or how many likes do I want, or how many whatever accolades I want. I'm just focusing on one video at a time, one edit at a time, one podcast at a time, and in doing so, the destination will be fulfilled. At the end of the day, life is meant to be lived. And if anyone says that they figured out life and that they're no longer a work in progress, that is the end of their life. But we are here living and breathing and knowing that every and each day is always a day to be 1% better than we were yesterday. Embrace being a work in progress. Embrace your human experience. Embrace this moment, because that's all we have. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tapping in. Please be sure to share, like, and comment. And I will definitely see y'all in the next one. And remember, the genius in me sees the genius in you. And always, always.